Importance. Honorable numbers, matters of national importance. Honorable numbers, please.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I'm so grateful that you have allowed me to raise the matter of national importance.
2 minutes.
But I also want to let you know that all of us had thought that we would get an opportunity to contribute to the debate that was before us. But now that you have ruled that we proceed, Mr. Speaker, I want to remind this House, as a way of raising a matter of national importance, about the plight of travelers on Kampala Jinja Road. Right Honorable Speaker, what is happening on that highway can no longer be classified as traffic jam, but a crisis in its own style. Right Honorable Speaker, the point of concern as I raise this matter now is the risk we are running as a country of having trucks filled with thousands of liters of fuel stuck in traffic jam for hours in a congested road, on a congested road, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, some of us don't want to be prophets of doom, but it would be very bad if we don't discuss this. That if it is not just for the grace of the Lord who protects us Ugandans, any slight mistake, Right Honorable Speaker, and we will lose thousands of people and property on that road. In case of just a little fire, Right Honorable Speaker, or something near to that, Mr. Speaker, would sit here if some of us are not victims and count the losses. I know it is not easy to construct a road, but I think that there are technical things. But some years back when I was young, trailers carrying goods from the would move at a particular time.
On our numbers, on matters of national importance, we have a time limit. So I said the 2 minutes, we are now in 3. Just let's go on prayers.
Right Honorable Speaker, I want to pray that the Minister of Works and Transport comes up with interim provisions to mitigate the crisis.
No, please, honorable numbers, conclude your.
To mitigate the crisis on the Kampala Jinja Highway, I so pray.
Thank you, honorable. That's a very, very critical matter. All of us who pass there. So I think this is. I don't see the Minister of Works here, but right honorable Prime Minister, you want to respond, please?
Thank you. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. And I want to thank Honorable Namboze for bringing up such a question which is touching everybody. Right Honorable Speaker, I just want to inform this House and of course the country that Ministry of Works is fast tracking the Kampala Jinja Express Highway. The moment they get the money, it is being fast tracked. Secondly, Right Honorable Speaker, the drivers on that road, especially those ones who are using the big trucks, those are the ones carrying fuel and so on, they have been advised to use Katosi, Jinja, Mukono Road, so that they avoid the traffic around that corner.
Madam Prime Minister, if I may advise, do you think it would be prudent, because your response should be based on her prayers, where she has asked for interim mitigation measures, okay? So can I, if I requested the Minister for Works to come and respond to this issue with clear interim mitigation measures, do you think it would be more helpful?
Right, Honorable, that is right. I agree with you. But I thought for now, I thought I was giving information that can be used as we wait for the Minister of Works to come in. Because they had put a signpost to divert drivers who are using that highway to use Mukono, Katosi, Jinja. Because those are big ones. Then the short ones, between Kampala and Mukono. Can I finish? Between Kampala and Mukono, Right Honorable, there is railway transport that has been improvised now so that those people can be using the railway. I thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Masaba Karim. Honorable, no, we've agreed the minister come on Tuesday next week with a statement that shows interim mitigation measures. And then we shall debate that. Okay? Honorable Sarah Najuma.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I raise on the matter of national importance about the road from Butalangu to Ngoma and from Ngoma to Chinyogoga. Right Honorable Speaker, there is a section from Chirangas to Ngoma which is becoming impassable. Even there are sections on Ngoma Chinyogoga Road. Right Honorable Speaker, I contacted the Minister of Works. He sent us machines, but the machines are grounded up to now. And the engineers on ground are telling us to wait for some time, that we should wait up to April. Honorable Speaker, those are the only two roads from Ngoma to Butalangu and from Ngoma to Chinyogoga that lead to these other constituencies. Nakaseke North, those are the only two roads that connect Nakaseke North to Nakaseke Central and to Nakaseke South, and they are the only two roads that connect that constituency to Kampala. Right Honorable Speaker, April is very far, we cannot wait. And the engineers are complaining that they just lack only spare parts. Right Honorable Speaker, I request the Minister of Works to intervene so that the machines are back on the road. Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker.
Let the Minister respond on Thursday during Prime Minister's time. All right. Thank you. Because Honorable Pio Samuel.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I rise on a matter of national importance on the delay in crop insurance payment for farmers under the Uganda Agriculture Insurance Scheme. Right Honorable Speaker, the government has been implementing the Uganda Agriculture Insurance Scheme, which is a public-private partnership between Ministry of Finance, which represents government, and the Private Insurance Association. Under this scheme, government subsidizes a percentage of the premium, and the farmers also pay a part of it. In 2022, more than 2,000 farmers in Kole district enrolled for this scheme and paid their premiums. They suffered crop failures, they were assessed, and they were due to be given awards. However, Right Honorable Speaker, it's now 2 years down the road and their awards have not been given. The reason that is being given is that government has not honored its part of paying the subsidies for those premiums itself. My prayer, therefore, is that one, the Minister of Finance gives us an update on the Uganda Agriculture Insurance Scheme, because we are now moving into the next rainy season. Secondly, I also want the Minister of Finance to tell us why government has not yet honored paying the premiums or the subsidies for the Uganda Agriculture Insurance Scheme so as to enable the farmers to be paid their awards. Thank you.
Can I also guide this is answered on Thursday? So that means of Finance and Agriculture can have time to meet over it. There was a motion.
Mr. Speaker, I move this motion and I want to thank you. Under Rule 59B, 1B. And the motion, Mr. Speaker, is a motion of adjournment to discuss an urgent matter of public importance. So, Speaker, I want to thank you. You were generous in allowing us to make comments the way we did about the Supreme Court judgment. But because of the importance of this judgment, I am moving this motion, Mr. Speaker, to persuade you to adjourn the subject matter under consideration and to allow us at least an hour to discuss this matter. Why? The defeat in court was not a defeat just of the Attorney General. In fact, when Parliament was making this law, the Honorable Chiwanuka Chiriowa was not even the Attorney General. So this judgment also touches on how Parliament conducts business here. How you are advised, because the way the Chief Justice described setting up of the court martial, he said it's like asking him to go to Mulago to begin operating patients. That's what Parliament did, and any MP worth the name must take this as a very serious matter. That what we did, what Parliament did in setting up the General Court Martial was like telling a lawyer to go to Mulago to operate patients. And second, Mr. Speaker, the constitutional order in the country, this judgment touches on the constitutional order. That you have a military that has taken over management of society. The CDF is issuing one tweet after another. We are now asking Attorney General to advise him. So the motion, Mr. Speaker, of adjournment is to allow us to present these matters to the satisfaction of the public. The public now is very happy with the judiciary. It is time for the public to also be very happy with the Parliament, especially because it's this Parliament that established that General Court Martial. I am lucky I was not in that Parliament. Otherwise, the words of the Chief Justice. So that's the motion, Mr. Speaker, that I am moving to adjourn consideration of the matters on the floor now to discuss a matter of urgent public importance, and that's the judgment of the Supreme Court.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Semuju. No, wait, I guide before. I need to guide, okay? That's why I'm here. Now, this matter goes beyond Rule 59. It goes to Rule 64. 64.2. A member who desires to move a motion of this nature in writing should, if I may read it, a member desiring to move the motion under sub-rule 1, because it's a special motions, that's adjournment of adjournment motion, definite matter of urgent public importance. A member desiring to move the adjournment motion under sub-rule 1 shall, save in exceptional circumstances, given out to the satisfaction of the Speaker, would submit to the Speaker the terms in writing of the matter which he or she desires to be discussed at least 2 hours before the commencement of the day's sitting. Because you would have seen that it's not provided for on the order paper. Number 2, under 64 sub-rule 4, D, which is the right to move a motion under this rule, is subject to the following conditions. The motion must not revive debate on a matter which has already been discussed in the same session under this rule. I gave this matter 45 minutes. We discussed it for 45 minutes. It's a matter that a member considered to be very important, so he should have gone to the speaker 2 hours before I enter here, at least midday or 11, and say I have an urgent matter, which I don't see on the order paper. In my opinion, I will be moving that we adjourn debate on some items to consider this matter. Therefore, I find it effective, and I cannot even put a question on it. Or guidance is not provided for anywhere in our rules. Yeah. Thank you. Our next item. Procedure Buvuma.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, last week on Tuesday, I raised a matter of national importance concerning a boat that capsized due to negligence of the UPD Fisheries Protection Unit. And one of my prayers was for this House to table the fisheries and aquaculture regulations, Right Honourable Speaker. And you requested government to commit themselves as of when these regulations will be tabled, and the third Deputy Prime Minister, Right Honourable Rukia Nakadama, committed herself that the regulations would be tabled within 1 week. So, Right Honourable Speaker, my procedure matter is, wouldn't it be procedure right for us to know whether the Right Honourable Rukia Nakadama has carried along with her the regulations to be tabled for this House, because the fisheries and the fisheries community, we are in need of those regulations.
Please, Honorable, a week has not ended. She told you a week. A week has not ended, please. Stop putting on pressure. Honorable Mapenduzi, you had an issue.
Right Honourable Speaker, I rise under Rule 2182 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament. Right Honourable Speaker, on the 19th of December, the Public Service Pension Fund Bill 2024 was referred to the Committee on Public Service and Local Government. And the committee was given a period of 45 days within which it should scrutinize and report back to this House. Right Honourable Speaker, you are aware that on the same day, Parliament went on recess. And when we returned, we were given a strict time frame within which we were supposed to consider the budget framework paper. And the committee had to accomplish that task. Right Honourable Speaker, considering that the 45 days has gone and we have just a few days, and it would be procedurally correct, Right Honourable Speaker, if you will find fit that the committee be granted permission of and you extend a period by about 3 weeks for the committee to adequately scrutinize and report back to this Parliament. Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker.
Thank you. Honourable colleagues, 3 weeks is okay? Okay. 3 weeks, let's give you, because we took 3 weeks away from you when you were handling the BFP. Okay. Next item.
Item number 3 on the order paper.
I have a point of procedure from Honourable Watkins.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Having been a friend and a very close friend to you before we even joined this great institution, Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm duty bound to submit to constitutional authority. And Mr. Speaker, sir, this submission is in no way trying to challenge your decision. Mr. Speaker, sir, everybody in these chambers picked up a constitution and a Bible. I'm a Bible believer. I'm a Catholic. And a Quran. And then the Constitution. And Mr. Speaker, sir, we swore, or we took a constitutional oath. One, Mr. Speaker, to defend. Two, to preserve. And three, to protect the Constitution. Mr. Speaker, sir, we are drawing closer to a breakdown of a constitutional order. And they took the constitutional oath that I and yourself and everybody in the chambers took does not give us adequate room to see what is going on, continue on. Mr. Speaker, my procedure issue. Our Constitution is very, very clear. Article 92. And Mr. Speaker, sir, the Attorney General is aware that even when he's advising government, including this House, we are guided and directed by historic precedents. Mr. Speaker, sir, I want to draw the attention of everybody in the chambers to two precedents, which are his.
No, Watkins, I don't have that much time. Please.
Let me wrap up, Mr. Speaker.
Just tell us your point of procedure.
Yeah, this is about the Constitution.
No. Honorable Watkins, please. You are on point of procedure, okay?
This is the procedure matter,
so if
Mr.
you're on
Speaker.
procedure, okay, it's procedure. Please, procedure, point of procedure.
Mr. Speaker, sir, Semogeri and others versus the Attorney General, 2004. Malik Mabirizi versus the Attorney General, 2021. Crystal clear, Mr. Speaker, sir. We're not going to allow a total constitutional breakdown happening on our watch. I'm going to partner with my honorable colleague, Honorable Semuju. That is either that matter considered tomorrow or no matter. So my procedural issue, Mr. Speaker, sir, is having taken the oath, the constitutional oath, would we, Mr. Speaker, sir, be proceeding correctly while we see the executive undermining the very oath, because the ruling of the Supreme Court is non-negotiable. What I don't want, Mr. Speaker, is I don't want your leadership in this House to be co-opted in illegality and also criminality as it relates to offending Article 92 of our Constitution, which is crystal clear. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Now, I'm very happy I see Honorable Atkins wishes me well, wishes this House to have powers, which would also be able maybe to use. But Honorable Atkins, my brother, here, we don't have powers of enforcement of court orders outside those directed at our institution. We can only comment. And that's why allowed all this much time, and I ask, we can only put the Attorney General and government task to update us, but when it comes court orders, we cannot come here and we give orders. We can't. These are matters of court, settled, okay? Attorney General and the team government, they know what they are supposed to do. Now, in case they don't do what they are supposed to do, okay, the other parties who are aggrieved can go to court for contempt. And I think one of the colleagues, I don't know who raised it, said, Mr. Byabashija, if we go to court to start proceedings against it, was Honorable Sachkuba, I think, for contempt. Honorable Nwagawa, yes, for contempt of court. So here, on such a matters, Parliament was not party. We can only comment. And even with our comments, we cannot start taking sides because court already made a decision. So, colleagues, I request you, I beseech your indulgence, that let us know where our powers stop, and we remain playing within the boundaries of our powers as an institution. Next item.
Item number 3 on the order paper. Bill's first reading.
Wait, clerk. Remember, don't have Aisha.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, there is a matter on agriculture insurance that has been referred to a minister to bring a response next Thursday. And close to a year back, I raised a question again on insurance, and the Attorney General asked for time to get information, and he has never gotten back to us. Would it be procedure right that on the same Thursday, he responds to a question that I asked here, where banks charge double insurance over top-up loans?
Honourable Attorney General.
Right Honourable Speaker, I do not recall undertaking to report back about double insurance of banks, because that's really way outside my realm of, I wouldn't have undertaken that. I think, but if you want me to go and research on it, I can do it, but definitely.
No, it's Minister of Finance.
It's Minister of Finance.
Yeah,
maybe. I don't know anything about insurance and their double charges.
Just let me make it very easy for you, Honourable Aisha. I put it in writing, okay? I submit it, I'll ensure the Minister of Finance.
Right, Honourable Speaker, it's a question I've asked twice. That will be the third time. The last time I asked that question, it was addressed to the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister addressed the matter to the Attorney General. The Attorney General said, let me go consult and I come back.
Can I raise the matter now, okay? The way you wanted it, and I refer it to the right minister.
Thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, when people go to get loans from banks, especially when they're getting top-up, okay, ordinarily banks charge for insurance on every loan. When you go to get a top-up loan, again, insurance is charged. But when they are charging that insurance, they charge for the whole loan. Let me give an example. If you are left with a balance of a loan of 40 million shillings, and you want to top up 100, and they're only going to give 60 million, they charge insurance on the whole amount of loan, which is double charging, because the portion that you are not taking would be paid for already. So it is cheating people, charging them twice over money that is not taken. So my question was, is it fair, and why isn't government doing regulations that will guide banks not to charge people twice over top-up loans? Thank you.
Thank you, Minister for Finance. That's as a regulator.
Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, if I have understood Honourable Aisha well, this is the matter between commercial banks and their clients.
They're asking a regulator. As a regulator.
We don't, Mr. Speaker, we don't negotiate on behalf of the clients. Take the loan or don't take. If the loan is bad, leave it.
Senior banker, you wanted to say something? Honorable Mara? Honorable Msasizi, you usually give us answers. Today I don't know who has disturbed you. You rarely give such answers. Honorable Mara?
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. The practice is always that every loan that we get from the bank, whether personal loans or vehicle loans or home loans, normally carries some component of insurance charges. And so it will run down for a period of time as agreed by the client. But if you have exhausted, let me say you borrowed a 2-year loan and you're finished 1 year and you want a top-up, normally that top-up will come with an insurance charge again. And it is a relationship, it's an arrangement, it's a product arrangements between you and the bank. Bank of Uganda or the Ministry of Finance has nothing to do with it. Now, if there is any disagreement, Because what Bank of Uganda does is to make sure, by regulation, all banks must display all their charges in the public so that the people can see, they can educate them. But if you choose to take a particular product, it would have been believed that you've taken it from a point of knowledge. So they should explain thoroughly to you about the products, benefits, and the charges that come with it. So I don't think it's something that the Ministry of Finance would get involved in, or even the regulator.
Now, honorable colleagues, I don't have much time. You can see we are coming 4 p.m. Okay? Okay, Senior Counsel.
I want to thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I think today, like you, I'm disappointed by the Honorable Henry Musasizi. I think the matter raised by the Honorable Member is of interest to the Ministry of Finance as regulator. One, we have Insurance Regulatory Authority in this country, which is established by law. Number two, banking practice is also regulated by law and supervised by Bank of Uganda. It raises 2 issues, one of law and one of consumer protection. If I were in his shoes, not likely, I would commit to carrying out investigations and then report. That's number one. I would also commit to bringing regulations that regulate that practice. One of the reasons why the economy continues to lag behind is because consumers are not protected. The credit facilities in this country remain very expensive, and these are areas which the Ministry of Finance needs to look into. When he shakes his head in this agreement and this belief, I get worried that he's not about to protect Ugandans, and he's not even bothered, even when he doesn't know. I would implore him to know, first to seek to know, then come and give us an informed answer.
Thank you. Now, honorable colleagues, when the consumers run it to us, say, ask the regulator, we have this issue. I think we should listen to them. You know, because these are people who don't know our issues of technicalities. You can't just throw it at them, our issues of technicalities. Government Minister for Trade is not here, but I think Attorney General should be having information on how far we've reached with the consumer protection law, which government was working on. Maybe this would be helping us. They would be running to that either commission or committee or whatever it is. Do we have any update on Attorney General will check and update her. So, Honorable Musasizi, take keen interest in the matter, and in 2 weeks report back to the House. Thank you. Honorable colleagues, in the public gallery this afternoon, we have a delegation of traders from Mbare City, Mbare District. They are represented by Honorable Masaba Karim and Honorable Koni Garwango. They've come to observe proceedings of this House. Please join me in welcoming them. Stand up for recognition. Thank you. Now I called Honorable Masaba. Ari Aron to present his matter. Was nowhere to be seen. But for me to lobby more votes for him in the constituency, I'm going to, yes, I'm going to give him a chance to speak so that his people can see him speaking on the floor. Raise your matter.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, and I think they have heard. Unfortunately, you called my name, but I'd gone to facilitate them to be allowed in because they told me it's a big delegation and they needed clearance from the DPC to allow them in. That's why I'd gone, and apologies for that. Right Honorable Speaker, the traders who have come are a group of a larger group. They're representatives of a larger group of some of the traders from Mbale City who were affected by some fires recently, a few days ago. I think some of you saw what happened on media. Many of the shops, over 20 shops, got burnt and they lost properties worth millions or billions of shillings, and many of them are currently devastated by what happened. And they actually traveled to Kampala. They sent a delegation to come to Kampala to meet the Prime Minister, but unfortunately she was held up, and I opted to come and raise this matter such that it can be picked up by the Office of the Prime Minister to see how best our traders can be helped, because they have lost properties and many of them are having loans and financial hardships. So that is why I'm raising this matter. The Office of the Prime Minister, there are two prayers. One is for an investigation to be done quickly such that they can know the cause of this, what exactly happened and led to these fires that led to the damage of their properties and loss of properties. Fortunately, we did not have any person who passed on because of the fires, because they happened at night and all their shops were closed. And the last prayer is for the government to run to their aid and see how best they can be helped, how they can facilitate them, because many of them have lost properties and do not know where to begin from. Thank you very much.
Honorable Connie Garwango, do you want to add on something?
Yes, right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, allow me welcome my people from Bale. You're most welcome. Kwa simire mwanyala kweza. Right Honorable Speaker, I'm sorry I've used that language, which is not. I'm sorry I've used that, but I wanted to show my joy for my people.
No, but what does it mean? What if you're saying they grab me from out?
I've said they are most welcome. Right Honorable Speaker, as Honorable Karim has stated, our businessmen and women have had very hard times after losing all that they had. Given the financial status right now and what is happening in the country, people are really struggling. And if people have struggled and have gotten little, and many of them operate on bank loans, and if you have got a bank loan and everything has gone, it makes them so desperate that many of them have even gotten sicknesses that they have never had because of the pressure that came out of the fires. Right Honorable Speaker, many times government has come up to help people who have had such tragedies. It's my prayer that something is done to see that they are real, they are rehabilitated. I want to thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Minister for Disaster Preparedness.
Right Honorable Speaker, I want to confirm that we are aware about the incidents that occurred, and the team is doing an investigation to provide us with a report. And secondly, Right Honorable Speaker, I will collaborate with the members of Parliament, and we hold a meeting where the Right Honorable Prime Minister will be present so that we can see how we give them help. I can't be specific now because it involves compensation that needs investigation, and thereafter we'll be able to communicate back to them. Thank you.
Thank you. Next item.
Item number 3 on the order paper. Bill's first reading. 3.1, the Income Tax Amendment Bill 2025.
Honourable Minister for Finance.
Right Honourable Speaker, I beg to move a motion that the bill entitled the Income Tax Amendment Bill 2025, Bill number 2, be read for the first time.
Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, I also wish to lay the certificate of financial implications accompanying the bill. I beg to.
Thank you. The bill stands referred to the Committee on Finance, Planning and Economic Development, and to be processed within 45 days, depending. But on Chair Finance, these usually are very, very critical, and it's very, very small. These are very, very, very critical clauses that we need to sort out quickly. Honourable Minister, how urgent do you need this bill? Because it's a small bill. I just need to look at the urgency.
Mr. Speaker, this is a one-clause bill, and I would wish the House to consider it at an earliest opportunity. But in any case, if we get it in 2 weeks, we shall be grateful.
Thank you. Maximum 2 weeks, committee.
The Income Tax Amendment Bill 2025. Item 3.2, the Excise Duty Amendment Bill 2025.
Honourable Minister.
Right Honourable Speaker, I beg to move that the bill entitled the Excise Duty Amendment Bill 2025 be read for the first time. Mr. Speaker, I have accompanied the bill with the certificate of financial implications.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. The bill stands referred to the Committee on Finance, process in line with Rule 129, but also 2 weeks' time.
The Excise Duty Amendment Bill 2025. Item 3.3, the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Bill 2024.
Honourable Minister for Energy.
Right Honourable Speaker, I beg to move that the bill entitled Energy Efficiency and Conservation Bill 2025 be read for the first time.
Is it accompanied by the relevant documents?
Right Honourable Speaker, I wish to beg to lay the Certificate of Financial Implications for the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Bill 2025.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. The bill stands referred to the Committee on Natural Resources to be processed in line with the Rule 129 of our Rules of Procedure. Next item.
The Energy Efficiency and Conservation Bill 2024.
Procedure, Honourable Matthias.
Madam Speaker, it's a small matter, but this being a bill, the record ought to read clear. The clerk calling the bill, the Energy Efficiency Bill and Conservation Bill 2024, the minister refers to a bill of 2025. May we know on record what we are dealing with, that the record is very clear?
Honourable Minister.
Right Honourable Speaker, the bill is labelled 2024.
Thank you. Let the record capture that. Thank you so much, Honourable Honourable Matthias Mpuga. Next item.
Item 4 on the order paper, statement by Minister on prolonged pre-trial detention.
Attorney General.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, honourable colleagues, I regret to report that we are unable to make this statement today. When the matter came up last week, the Minister of Justice made an effort to meet with the judiciary, with the Chief Justice and the team. They were busy last week with preparation of the judgment. This came on Tuesday. They were not able to meet him. And this week they are handling the judges' conference, which started today, which should end on Friday. So the Honourable Minister has requested that he be allowed time to meet with the Chief Justice and then be able to report back.
Attorney General, what I thought was, because prisons updates the DPP and all the relevant authorities, I'm told they update them every 6 months or every month. The prisoners, they have their status and all that, okay? What would require meetings on this when you have records? Because maybe the chairman, Committee on Human Rights, can expound on it. I don't know the meetings, what the meetings are about, because the record is accurate. Someone has been in prison for 16 years, someone 28 years. So Chairman, Committee on Human Rights.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I think you have explained it all. Only to add that we supplied to the Deputy Attorney General a comprehensive list of all remand prisoners who have been incarcerated for periods ranging from a couple of months to 28 years. And the list we supplied to DAG includes the locations at which they are being incarcerated, when they were arrested, what crimes they were charged with, and the periods they have stayed in incarceration. So I believe they have sufficient material to work with.
Yeah, because I don't know whether the judges are going to pronounce themselves the word B.
That's the point, Right Honorable Speaker. Having the list in the Attorney General's chambers does not give you the mandate to act on them, because these people are in the custody of the court. So the complaint raised here is to be taken to the court and say, there are these people. Even if we have them, the only person who can make a decision about that matter is the court that remanded them. I think that's why the minister would like to meet with the leadership of the judiciary. Allow us time, Right Honorable. I think the issue there is that you're seeking for their release, and therefore you have to go to the court to take that action. Ideally, you would have gone to the different courts to do that, but by going to the Chief Justice administratively, you can deal with all those in one place as the head of the judiciary. I think that's what the minister is trying to achieve.
So how much time do you think you need, Attorney General?
The minister has requested that you allow him to come back to this house next week after he has met with the Chief Justice.
Thank you. Next, Honorable item 7. No, item 5, Honorable. I'm also going to get liaise with the minister on this. This is a very, very critical matter. I just not leaving it lying low. Yes, item 5, Honorable colleagues, I had a meeting with the Chair Budget Committee today, and I found there was a delay in communicating my decision to the committee. So the committee was not ready. We agreed. They are meeting this afternoon and tomorrow to finalize, and then tomorrow afternoon we shall handle this rationalization issue. So let's do item number 6.
Item number 6 on the order paper, motion for adoption of the report of the Committee on Legal and Parliamentary Affairs on the ongoing update of the National Voters Register.
Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I have a 20-page document. The main copy is here, attached with the minutes. Report of the Sectoral Committee on Legal and Parliamentary Affairs on the ongoing general update of the National Voters Register. Mr. Speaker, I beg your indulgence that I read this document page by page. I beg your indulgence, Mr. Speaker, that I read the document page by page, because at the end of the document, all the matters that have been raised will have been resolved, I think. On January 20th, 2025, the Honorable Deputy Attorney General presented the statement on...
Let me guide you, Honorable. Try to be as detailed as possible, but 20 pages are too many for you to read word for word. But try to be...
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On the 20th January 2025, the Honorable Deputy Attorney General presented the statement on the ongoing voter verification exercise. During debate, a number of issues arose that required further interrogation. The Right Honorable Speaker accordingly directed the Committee on Legal and Parliamentary Affairs to interact with the relevant government agencies to seek clarification on the matters.
Methodology: in the course of the work, the committee interacted with the Electoral Commission, National Identification and Registration Authority, NIRA, and the Uganda Bureau of Statistics. And we reviewed the following documents: the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, Electoral Commission Act Cap 176, Registration of Persons Act Cap 332, and court rulings and Registration of Persons Act Cap 332. Now, the first matter is compiling of a voters register. This is a general matter that we need you to take note of, honorable members. Article 61, Clause 1, Paragraph B of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda imposes a duty on the Electoral Commission to organize, conduct, and supervise elections and referenda in accordance with the Constitution. In performance of this function, Article 61, 2 directs the EC to hold presidential, general, parliamentary, and local government council elections within the first 30 days of the last 122 days before the expiration of the term of the president, parliament, or local government councils. One of the key activities that the EC must undertake prior to holding any general election is to conduct a general update of the register in each parish, ward, in line with Article 61, Clause 1, Paragraph E of the Constitution, and Sections 18 and 20 of the Electoral Commission Act. On Monday, 20th of January, the Electoral Commission commenced the exercise. The provisions require the EC to compile, maintain, and update on a continuing basis a national voters register, which shall include the names of all persons entitled to vote in any national or local government election. Maintain as part of the voters register a voters roll for each constituency. And C, maintain as part of the voters roll for each constituency a voters roll for each polling station within the constituency as prescribed by law. Before compiling the voters register, the EC is required to register persons who qualify for voting in accordance with Article 59 of the Constitution and Section 20 of the Elections Commissions Act, and include them on the National Voters Register. Article 59 of the Constitution guarantees the right of every citizen of Uganda of 18 years and above to vote. The same article imposes a duty on the state to take all necessary steps to ensure that all citizens qualified to vote register and exercise their right to vote. Section 20 of the Election Commissions Act provides for the registration of voters and requires that a person is eligible for registration as a voter if that person is a citizen of Uganda and is 18 years and above. In proving a person's citizenship status, Section 69 of the Registration of Persons Act directs that the person must possess a national identity card or a national identification number issued by NIRA. In generating the voters register, Section 65(2) of the Registration of Persons Act, the EC is at discretion to compile, maintain, and update on a continuing basis a national voters register and use the information in the existing national voters register as well as the information contained in the registration of persons held by NIRA. After compiling a voters register, the EC is required to, in Section 24 and 25 of the Election Commission, has to display for inspection the voters register, a voters roll for each constituency, and a voters roll for each polling station within the constituency. The current voter register and verification exercise is in furtherance of the powers of the EC as outlined above. And the exercise is aimed to 1, enable eligible Ugandan citizens of 18 years and above who are not yet registered as voters to be registered as voters. The second aim of the current exercise is to enable registered voters who wish to transfer to new voting locations to apply for such transfer. The third issue is to enable registered voters to check and confirm that their particulars are correct and appear on the voters register at the polling locations that they indicated during registration. And number 4 is to enable students who are registered by NIRA and have since attained the age of 18 years to present their particulars, that is, the national identification number, for updating and assignment of a polling station within their parish of residence or origin. Consideration of the issues raised by members on the voter registration exercise. During the debate on the statement by the Deputy Attorney General, a number of issues were raised by members in relation to the conduct of the voters register update exercise by EC. The issues were extracted by the committee and referred to the agencies, EC, NIRA, and UBOS. Below is part of the committee, is the report of the committee on the issues raised, taking into account the responses received from EC, NIRA, and UBOS, and the legal obligations imposed on those agencies under the law. The first issue members raised is the registration of persons without national IDs, stroke NIN numbers by the Electoral Commission. A number of members questioned the current practice by the EC of registering first-time voters who do not possess national identity card numbers. The members urged that the Electoral Commission should not be registering first-time voters who do not possess NIN numbers, since such individuals have not been certified as citizens of Uganda. On its part, the EC informed the committee that it is currently registering persons to participate in elections, whether such persons possess NIN numbers or not. The EC explained that where a person appears and he has a national ID, the voter is registered by the EC for inclusion on a national voter. And if the person does not have a NIN number, then the person is registered by EC, and his or her particulars are collected and are transmitted to NIRA for registration and issuance of a NIN number. The committee has examined this matter and finds that the registration of voters is governed by the Constitution, the Electoral Commission Act, and the Registration of Persons Act. The committee is aware that Article 59 of the Constitution guarantees every citizen who is above 18 the right to vote. The same article imposes an obligation on every citizen of Uganda of 18 years and above the duty to register to vote in an election. Article 61(1)(e) of the Constitution imposes a duty on the EC to compile, maintain, revise, and update the voters' register. Section 20 of the Election Commission Act provides for the qualification of a voter in Uganda, and it requires that a person is qualified as a voter if that person is a citizen of Uganda and is 18 years of age or above. In ascertaining the citizenship of a voter, a person who alleges to be a citizen of Uganda must produce a NIN number issued by NIRA within the provisions of the Registration of Persons Act, Section 66(2) of the Registration of Persons Act. I'll go back a bit. Section 20 of the Election Commission provides for the qualification of a voter in Uganda. It requires that a person is qualified as a voter if the person is a citizen of Uganda and is 18 years of age and above. In ascertaining the citizenship of a voter, a person who alleges to be a citizen of Uganda must produce a national ID or a NIN issued by NIRA within the provisions of the Registration of Persons Act. Section 66(2) of the Registration of Persons Act requires a person to produce a NIN number or a national identification card or alien's identification number or alien's identification in identifying him or herself as a voter. The committee observes that the registration of a person as a voter is a two-step process which is commenced by a person being registered by NIRA, issued with a national ID or a NIN, and therefore presenting himself or herself to the Electoral Commission for registration as a voter. The committee notes that the current practice adopted by EC of registering first-time voters who do not possess national IDs or NIN numbers is wrong, since by the time a person applies to the EC to be registered as a voter, he or she must have proved his or her citizenship status by registering with NIRA and being issued with a NIN or a national identity card, which certifies the person as a Ugandan. The committee therefore notes that it is wrong for the EC to register persons who are not possessed with national IDs or NINs, because their mandate is to register citizens of Uganda for election, and a person without a NIN number has to first prove his or her citizenship before being registered as a voter. The mandate to register citizens of Uganda is the preserve of NIRA and cannot be ceded to any other person or authority. The committee therefore finds that the EC should only register persons who possess national identity cards or NIN numbers or student LIN numbers. Any person who does not have a national ID, NIN or student number should not be registered by the EC, and should instead be directed to apply to NIRA to register and obtain a NIN number, ID, or a student's number before they are registered by EC. Recommendation. The committee recommends, therefore, that during the update of voters registered, the EC should only register persons who are above 18 years and above, and possess national IDs, NIN numbers, or LIN numbers. Second recommendation, since NIRA and EC are carrying out complementary work, NIRA should consider undertaking registration of persons exercises during the period the EC is undertaking voter verification, so that persons who are not possessed with national IDs or NIN numbers can be registered by NERA during the same exercise. And the records of such persons be shared automatically with the EC as provided in Section 66(2) of the Registration of Persons Act. The second issue, honorable members, was the adequacy of registration kits, stock registration of new voters at the sub-county level. A number of members raised issues about the registration of new voters at the sub-county instead of parish or ward as required under Section 20 of the Electoral Commission Act. The members urged that the registration of persons at the sub-county rather than at the parish ward has discouraged first-time voters from participating in electoral processes since they have to walk long distances from their villages to the sub-county in order to get registered. Members also argued that their constituents have incurred a lot of costs associated with transportation and wastage of a lot of time on commuting to and from their villages and to the sub-county. The Electoral Commission confirmed to the committee that it had indeed supplied registration kits at the sub-county level rather than at the parish level or ward. However, the EC clarified that the kits are supposed to rotate at parish levels on different days during the exercise. According to the EC, the total number of kits deployed for this exercise is 2,703 biometric enrollment kits, instead of the required 5,000 kits. The distribution of the kits was made based on the sub-counties, except for Kampala and Wakiso and Mukono, which have been allocated additional kits per parish or ward. The EC confirmed that it had received 35,000 out of 36,000 tablets from Uganda Bureau of Statistics, and the remaining tablets were undergoing verification before issuance to EC. According to the EC, the kits obtained from UBOS are not suitable for this exercise since they lack some of the features needed to carry out this work. The committee was informed that the 36,000 kits obtained from UBOS will be used for purposes of biometric voter verification during polling day. The committee observed that the practice of registering voters at the sub-county in some areas of the country instead of the parish or ward contravenes Section 20 of the Electoral Commission Act. The committee notes that this practice, born out of expediency due to the few number of kits that were made available to EC. The committee is aware that whereas the EC had requested for 5,000 biometric enrollment kits, only 2,703 biometric enrollment kits were made available. In order for the EC to comply with its statutory duties, it made the practical decision of distributing the available kits based on sub-counties in order to ensure that the exercise is carried out within the prescribed time. The committee notes that currently Uganda has 2,211 sub-counties, municipal divisions and town boards, 10,690 parishes or wards, 70,000 villages, stroke cells, 11 cities, 146 districts, 302 counties, 31 municipalities, and 34,000 polling stations. If the kits for registration were to be stationed at every parish or ward as required under Section 20 of the Electoral Commission Act, the EC would require 10,690 kits, a number that is currently out of their reach. The Commission finds that the kits available to EC were insufficient, making it difficult for the EC to have full-time kits at every parish or ward, and therefore the committee also finds that the insufficient numbers of kits deployed for voter verification has affected the ability of the EC to carry out the voter verification exercise smoothly and with little disruption to the normal lives of the people of Uganda. Recommendations. In light of the above, the committee recommends that the EC should consider extending the deadline for the voter verification exercise in light of the challenges faced in the process. The government should prioritize procurement of election kits and other ICT equipment needed by EC, and the EC should, in compliance with Section 20 of the Electoral Commission Act, ensure that voter verification exercise is carried out at the parish or ward. The other issue, honourable members, was the functionality of the kits used for voter verification and update. Members were concerned that the functionality of the registration kits have argued that the registration kits are obsolete and constantly break down, thereby delaying the registration process. The members were also concerned that of the slow pace of the verification of individuals, reasoning that since the registration kits are old, they can only work on a limited number of people, and in most areas not exceeding 50 per day. thereby occasioning delays in the registration process, leading to frustration of the would-be voters. The EC confirmed that they have received reports of breakdowns in the kits used for registration of voters and update. EC attributed the breakdown of the kits to the old age of the kits on account that the kits being used for the exercise were first procured for the 2014-2015 mass enrollment and registration under the National Security Information System Project, the predecessor of NIRA. NIRA informed the committee that the kits used by EC were procured by NIRA in 2014 and are 11 years old at the moment. According to NIRA, the kits are at the end of life and end of support, and their performance is suboptimal because of degradation over time. Precisely, they are obsolete. The committee was informed that as a mitigation measure, the EC has deployed ICT teams to deal with the problems experienced during the voter verification exercise. On its part, NIRA informed the committee that it was in the process of acquiring new 5,500 biometric enrollment kits, data center, equipment, and a new National Security Information System at a cost of 666.85 billion. According to NIRA, government has so far released a total of 300 billion, leaving a balance of 366 billion. However, due to delays in releasing of funds, only a few of the kits procured by NIRA have been delivered, and the rest, together with the new system, have not been supplied. NIRA was, however, hopeful that it would procure, contract, install, configure, deploy, train, and have a working system before the end of the year. So in other words, these ones cannot be available for the process and currently undergoing. The committee observes that the failure to replace the old and obsolete kits used for voter verification and registration is an indicator of bad planning on the part of government, which has not only allowed the use of obsolete kits but also failed to release all the money acquired to procure new kits for both EC and NIRA. This has therefore crippled the operations of the EC during the voter verification exercise. The committee further observes that the failure by government to provide the EC with its
Honorable,
own...
you want to read word for word. We are going to sleep here.
Oh.
The report will be captured on the Hansard, all of it. Just go on observations.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
Not
you.
necessarily an issue,
Thank you,
only
Mr. Speaker.
recommendation.
On this particular issue, our recommendation is that the EC should consider periodically and continuously updating the voter register with information obtained from NIRA in accordance with Section 65 of the Registration of Persons Act. The other observation is the government should urgently release all funds needed to procure, contract, install, configure, deploy, train, and have the new 5,500 kits kits operation in order to ensure that the 2026 general elections can run smoothly on the new National Security Information System. The other recommendation is the government should consider enabling the Electoral Commission to directly procure all its essential equipments by themselves and not relying on other government agencies, as the case has been on the voter verification exercise. The other issue, Mr. Speaker, and I'm now going to adopt the method you have advised, is the requirement for a recommendation from the Gombolola Internal Security Officer, the Parish Internal Security Officer, and the District Internal Security Officers in the voter verification exercise. Honorable members, the issue of, if you peruse, you realize that the reason why they have been using these people is because of the mistake they used it to bring in new voters who didn't have any numbers. And so, these GISOs and PISOs were supposed to verify citizenship, which we have said was not their mandate. That's the mandate of NIRA. If it was done that way, PISO, DISO, they would never appear anywhere. But they have combined the system of new voters who don't have any numbers with the exercise of verification. So to that end, the committee recommends that the EC should only register persons who possess national IDs or NIN as required by Section 66(2) of the Registration of Persons Act. In case the EC wishes to verify citizenship status of a person, the EC should contact NIRA, since it is the only competent body in Uganda that can attest the citizenship of a person. And the EC should immediately discontinue the involvement of DISOs, PISOs, and GISOs in the verification exercise, since their involvement in the process is legally and administratively redundant. The other issue was the exclusion of school-going children from the voter update exercise. Honorable colleagues, when you read, you'll understand that after this exercise, pupils, students who have attained 18 years of age from March onwards will not be on the register. Why? Because the Electoral Commission says their register should be ready by June for them to be able to start conducting elections. And the first elections are actually in June of the youth, the PWDs, and the other special interest groups. So they are time bound. Any child who will attain 18 years after March will not be able to vote. So we have made a recommendation that the committee recommends that NIRA should ensure that all learners in Uganda are registered and issued with lean numbers. And once they are 18 years of age, their particulars are transmitted to EC for inclusion in the voter register in accordance with Section 65 of the National Registration of Persons Act. But this will only be for this period of the exercise. Any youth who will attain 18 years of age after this exercise, they will not be able to be put on the voters. The other issue was lack of electricity in some sub-counties. Members complain that some sub-counties don't have power, and the kits sometimes are redundant because they are not charged. So the Electoral Commission, we have made recommendations. Government should endeavor to extend electricity to all parts of Uganda for the future. EC should ensure, EC should procure kits with the EC should procure kits with longer battery usage in addition to providing power storage and backup systems in areas with unreliable or no electricity supply. And the other recommendation is EC should immediately provide standby generators to sub-counties that don't have power to ensure that this exercise moves well. The other issue is unavailability of voter registers and the slow pace of voter verification. That was at the beginning. And I'll read this one because it is there is something good there. Members raised concerns on the delays in the commencement of the voter verification exercise in some constituencies due to, among others, delays in dispatching the voter register to relevant polling stations. The members averred that the delay affected the smooth verification of exercise and led to voter frustration and apathy. The EC admitted that in the beginning, the exercise in some parts of the country did not start smoothly as expected, but now the exercise is moving very well. EC instituted various measures to ensure that the exercise can be completed smoothly, including deploying supervisors in every district of Uganda to ensure that matters that raise are well handled. However, the EC also indicated that it is monitoring the situation on ground in real time, and if need be, EC will extend the time for the exercise. That one, we got an assurance from them that they are monitoring, they are going to be reporting to us, and I have a report I received today that should there be need to extend, they will indeed extend the time. The recommendation is that the committee recommends that the EC should plan appropriately to ensure that verification and other voting materials are delivered on time. The committee recommends that the EC should consider extending the deadline for the verification exercise due to the disruptions experienced at the beginning. Then, irregular removal of voters from the roll. Colleagues, the EC explained that it is not within their mandate to remove voters, and that the process for removal of voters from a roll is elaborate under Section 26(3) of the Electoral Commissions Act, and that any voter who has been removed erroneously has an opportunity in this period to be reinstated back, but also during the display of the voters' register, which is upcoming, I think, within 3 or 4 weeks from now. During that period, if you go and realize that you are not on the voters' register, there's going to be a tribunal, you raise a complaint, and you can be reinstated back. The committee recommends that the EC introduces mechanisms that prevent the removal of voters contrary to the provisions of the law in order to ensure credible, accurate, and transparent voter register. Any person whose particulars are missing from the voter register after the current voter verification period can have the particulars included in the voter register during the period of voter display as required in Section 25 of the Electoral Commission Act. The issue of charging money from voters by PISOs, GISOs, and some LCs, the Electoral Commission acknowledged that indeed there are some complaints that have come up and said they are making follow-up to ensure that such is not, does not take place and it is illegal. Recommendations, the committee recommends that the EC informs the public about any fees payable, if any. That the EC makes complaint reporting and handling processes simpler and more accessible to the people. and engages investigative agencies of government to investigate and prosecute persons who impose any fees from the voters. And that the EC makes the verification of voters simpler and removes unnecessary procedures and the processes that may be used to perpetuate corruption. Then, colleagues, the issue of use of 2014 census results in demarcation of electoral areas. We had here that in some areas where we are supposed to have, where there used to be 3 or 4 councillors, now there is either 1 or 2 councillors. This was caused by the usage of the 2014 data in demarcation of electoral areas. The Electoral Commission explained that because of the timeness, the time they are time bound, they had to demarcate areas, and yet WUBOS is not ready with their statistics, with the data of the 2024 population census. And the reason WUBOS gave us was that there are conflicts in many areas of the country, and they gave us those areas here. Apa, there is a dispute in Apa between Amuru and Ajuman. There is a dispute in Pararo or Kora area. There is a dispute in Ombechi, Kochi, Legura, Mogi area. The dispute is between Yumbe and Obongi districts. There is a dispute in Nyamisingira area, and therefore, WUBOS says they are waiting to sort these disputes out with the Minister of Local Government and the local areas, the local leadership, and then thereafter they can be able to release the 2024 data, which goes up to the sub-counties, villages, and parishes. So, as it is now, we have resolved that, we have recommended that the Electoral Commission reviews the demarcation of electoral areas in all the parishes in Uganda to ensure that using the population quota prescribed in Section 120 of the Local Government Act will not result in a number of councillors being less than 10 in a local area as required in Section 124, because there is a mitigation measure under Section 120 of the Local Government Act. Where councillors are less than 10 in a local government, the Electoral Commission has a mitigation measure under that act to ensure that they step up they cut down on the numbers to ensure that at least every local government has 10 councillors. WUBOS urgently releases the 2024 census results.
Conclude,
that the Minister
Chair.
of Local Government...
Chair, conclude.
I'm concluding, Mr. Speaker. The Minister of Local Government should urgently resolve all the boundary and other disputes affecting local governments as explained. Low level of voter education, as you have realized, colleagues, and we talked about here, voter education has been lacking. It has been minimal, not as required. So we have recommended that in accordance with Article 61G of the Constitution, the EC should formulate comprehensive and detailed educational programs for the education of the voters on the 2026 general elections. EC should expedite the process of procuring entities to carry out voter education. EC should ensure that voter education exercises are undertaken before end of the election processes begin. Mr. Speaker, I'm concluding. The committee has examined the issues raised by the members and found that some of the issues affecting the voter registration exercise are likely to have a negative impact on the credibility, accuracy, and transparency of the voter register. The legal regime pertaining to the conduct of elections requires that voters must be registered in order to be eligible to participate in an election. The voter registration is intended to ensure that everyone entitled to vote can do so, to prevent ineligible persons from voting and to guard against multiple voting by the same individual. The accuracy of the voter register is a key element in ensuring that all qualified constituents can enjoy their right to vote. Since the credibility of the entire electoral system depends on the accuracy of the voter register, government needs to ensure that resources are made available to the EC to undertake this delicate process in time. Every government agency that has a bearing on the compiling, maintaining, and update of the National Voters Register should play their role to ensure the timely delivery of the voters register at the time of the election. The committee finds that the challenges identified by members during the voter verification exercise have in most cases arisen from outside of the Electoral Commission and from other government agencies, departments and agencies. In the instant case, the delay by the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development in providing funds to NIRA to procure the new 5,500 biometric enrollment kits, data center and equipment, and the new NCI system has affected the carrying out of the voter verification process in a timely and efficient manner. Likewise, the delay in supplying valid up-to-date data from EC by UBOS has affected the demarcation of constituencies and other electoral areas. Therefore, there is need for government to operate in a coordinated manner, since a failure by one government agency or department or institution has a catastrophic effect on the operation of the EC in the execution of its mandate. Mr. Speaker, that's the end of the report, but 2 issues, and very briefly, Mr.
No,
Speaker.
Chair, even before you got those 2 issues, just first leave the rest. Please take your seat. No, you have a report which members signed. So is it part of the report?
Mr. Speaker, I received the current update from the chairman of Electoral Commission as of yesterday.
No, Chair, your role was to read the report.
Oh.
If there is any update, the minister is around.
Thank you. Much obliged, Mr.
Yeah, thank you. Now, thank you, Chair. You've done a wonderful job. But, honorable colleagues, I have been guiding the House on several occasions, but sometimes it's difficult. People say, no, we have, Now, Article 62 of the Constitution, independence of the Commission. Subject to the provisions of this Constitution, the Commission shall be independent and shall, in the performance of its functions, not be subject to the direction or control of any person or authority. The recommendations we are making here, we are telling the Electoral Commission, go adjust boundaries, extend the deadline, do what? It's in contravention of Article 62, Chair. And moreover, we are beneficiaries of the electoral process. We cannot be here defying the law which this House legislated upon. Rope, do you want to say anything about it? I have not yet opened debate on the report. I'm only bringing a matter of the law on where the limit of our powers stops.
Honourable Speaker, the legislature is the third arm of government, and the executive is accountable to this legislature. And that's why when we raised these matters, when I specifically raised this matter, is because ultimately the people of Uganda have recourse here in the legislature through their legislators. The report is saying EC should consider extending the period of the voter verification exercise. We are not sitting here and directing and saying, EC, you should extend this period by 30 days. If you don't, we are going to do A, B, C, D, E. That's not what we are doing. We are saying, EC, based on all these challenges, which they also admit, because they have also admitted to, number one, their kits are not adequate, because you find one kit where you're lucky per sub-county. Where you're unlucky, 3 sub-counties are using one kit. Some of these kits are